From here on out, every foul is flagrant, boy. Let's go. What's up? Came in a chokehold, more balls than Esco. All right, maybe
you are now tuned into the chat room, your favorite baller's favorite podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Chatroom Podcast. I am the Senator, and this is episode 23. And with me today, making his return, congratulations. We've said this like 3 times across all the podcasts, but you already know what it is. Making his return, we got Mr. Pro Chatterbox Essay.
Thank you. Newly engaged Pro Chatterbox. It feels good to finally return to the mic, but I did appreciate the time off. And I'm glad I could return on this particular episode because it's quite significant. I think around this time last year in NBA timelines, the Raptors. No, it wouldn't have been this time because we got eliminated in the second round, whereas the Lakers took an early dive and an early trip to Cancun. And it's funny that certain people haven't arrived on this episode because that episode when the Raptors got knocked out, I got called out. So I don't see our 2 local bronzexuals in their chairs. So what's going on? That's what I want to know. Who's ducking now? But let me cool down. Let me cool down. We're just doing the intros now.
That came in hot.
It's been 6 weeks.
Got Dewayne.
What's going on?
And we got Coach.
What's going on, yo? What's going on?
Gentlemen, how you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
We know what Sean's doing. We know what Sean's doing.
Feeling splendid.
Good, man. No complaints, you know.
All right, so for this episode, we're really just going to talk about the first round. We're going to talk about the first round, look back at our picks that was posted on the Chatroom Podcast Instagram page, see how our brackets are doing and all that good stuff. So first thing we're going to talk about, Sean Essay brought it up. The Lakers versus Phoenix.
The GOAT. The GOAT. Lakers in 5, right?
I mean,
Lakers in 5.
Only thing I gotta say is we've seen what injuries happen, what injuries do, right? So, part of the game.
Injuries.
For sure, yeah. The same thing
now they count.
The same thing that gave Toronto their championship happens.
Oh wait, how was there any players injured on Miami last year? I just want to know.
Insignificant players, yeah. Those players,
exactly. The leading scorer, the leading rebounder, and the leading assist facilitator on Miami being injured is inconsequential. Is that what you just said? So that those players didn't matter?
100%. So if Bam was healthy, what would happen in that series?
You guys lost 2 with Bam not being healthy.
So I'm saying, so I'm asking you, like you have all this talk. So I want to hear if Bam was healthy, what would happen?
There would have been a game 7. So Bam was healthy.
So
it would have been a game 7.
So who'd have won?
It would have been tight.
So it would have
been tight.
So
it would have been tight.
Okay, so who'd have won?
We don't know. That's the point. We don't know.
Essay, do you know?
Now he's dodging. Now he's dodging.
We don't know who would have won.
It's fine.
Okay. No. But here's the thing. You've been chirping all season long. You've been chirping preseason long.
100%.
We just signed Dennis Schroeder. Is that enough? We just got Trez. Is that enough?
When your 2 superstars get hurt.
They ain't ready for Drummond, MJ. They ain't ready for Drummond. I predict Lakers are gonna win by 10 tonight.
So all this talk, and your 2 best players are hurt. So you show me a team where their 2 best players got hurt, and they made playoffs. Because as I recall, you guys lost 1 player, and you guys had 3 guys gone from COVID, and you guys didn't make playoffs. So you show me a team that had
we beat you though.
You guys didn't make playoffs though.
But we beat you though.
But he didn't make playoffs.
But now those all of a sudden those excuses existed because when we did get COVID, when we were injured, everyone was acting like those that we weren't injured. Everybody was acting like we were a full team. We didn't get that same energy. So I don't want to hear it. So you guys still had a healthy Trez. You still had a healthy Drummond. So you still had a healthy Dennis Schroeder. Okay. You still had those players you were chirping about.
You got all this energy and you're shouting, and your point is not relevant because when we started the season off and when Raptors were playing bad, we said Raptors were playing trash, but we always said that it was always COVID. So Fanfare always brought it up. That was always
Fanfare brought it up, but it wasn't respected. Always. So I don't want to hear
respected
it.
About what?
I don't want to hear it.
Respected about what? Go back.
I just brought up the truth. That's all.
That's all it was. So
I just brought up the truth.
So exactly, you go back. But wasn't you go back those episodes. So you go back those episodes and you look at all that stuff, and it was always said Raptors are playing shit, they're losing, and they're injured, and they got COVID. So you're looking for a reason to latch onto. And it's not happening.
What reason to latch on to?
You guys
had all the players. You kept
minus our two best players.
You even said we are good with AD. Now that when AD was injured, that whole stretch, you're like, we're good. We're good.
We're good. Of course, we're good without him. But as you've seen, when those guys, when we didn't have Bron or AD for 30 games, and we're still 500 in those 30 games. So being 500, you're still a playoff caliber team.
So did you know
with those two best games?
Did you know AD was injured when you predicted winning by 10 in Game 6? Did you know AD was injured and not playing then when you made that prediction?
How can I know that?
I mean, how can I know that? He was injured. He didn't play Game 5. He didn't.
Okay.
You know that injury. You know you're not going to return in a few days from that.
How can I know that?
Okay.
How can I know that? All I know is that when AD was on the court and when AD was playing well, the two wins they got, who was playing well in both those games?
But you said during the season you'd be fine if AD was on the sidelines. That was the whole point. The whole point was for sure. Lakers could be good with one superstar.
100%, as I said during the season.
Obviously, that's not the case.
As I said during the season, 100%, we can make way with one superstar. We can make way with no superstars during the season. That's what I said. And as we've seen, both superstars were out, and we were still a 500 team.
LeBron had minutes. LeBron had minutes in Game 5 and 6.
No, I mean during the
the regular season.
When I made that statement saying that we don't need to rush those guys back, we can have both those guys not play because it was during the season. So during the season, you can afford not to have your two best guys because during the season it's just about your depth. Right? The season is about your depth. In the playoffs, it's more about your depth shrinks. So you can have 10 guys on your roster who are going to play, but it's all about, okay, you're only going to play 7 or 8 guys because that's the guys you trust. So if you have your two best guys, your two top guys who are not there, Bron was there, he played like trash. But if you have AD not there, who's part of those two top guys, obviously you're going to be not successful. So, and as everybody knows, everybody in this group had Lakers winning that first round. So
I had the Lakers. I had the Lakers going to the finals.
I had Lakers winning that round.
Okay, but what I'm saying, everybody had that. So to come on here and say, "Oh, you guys lost," yada yada yada. Everybody knows that if AD and Bron were healthy, it would have been a Lakers series. So I don't get the whole hype.
So you needed two superstars. Not one. One wasn't enough.
Not at all.
Okay.
Which team in NBA has one superstar that's doing well?
The Suns,
but they beat a team. But
their superstar was injured too.
Superstar, they have one superstar
who's injured,
who's healthy, and one superstar who is injured.
I would say Booker's an emerging superstar. I wouldn't say and because this is his first playoff run, so I'd say he's an emerging superstar.
That's fair.
Their actual superstar was injured. He was one-handed.
That's fair.
So
what? They're gonna lose next round.
And they beat you.
But we had two guys hurt.
They had the Lakers had a lot. They had some.
Bro, what are you talking about? KCP got hurt too. Like, bro,
but you still had Shooter. You still had Shooter. You still had Drummond. You still had Matthews. You still had Kuzma.
Matthews got hurt too. Matthews got hurt too. KCP got hurt. Braun got hurt.
The Lakers
AD got
had a
hurt.
lot of.
Bro,
but when other teams are injured, I don't get this energy. No, this energy
Everybody-
wasn't there when
it's
Bam
always
went
been there.
down.
If you
When
go back to,
Dragic went
if you
down.
go back to if you go back to every series, like I don't know what where you're pulling from, but every series,
Okay.
I've always said, go back to Raptors. I said Raptors won because Golden State players got hurt. I said last year, yeah, if Bam was there, if Dragic was there, sure, it would have made the series a little bit more interesting. Sure,
You're talking
Like-
about players who are already overstacked with superstars losing a superstar and becoming a normal team because they were stacked to begin with. Having Braun
Okay.
and AD on the same team was stacked to begin with. And the mere
Okay.
fact that one of them got injured and a more experienced, the veteran, the so-called GOAT
there were
one,
4 guys
was
hurt.
still playing.
There are 4 guys hurt. Braun's ankle, Braun high ankle sprain, KCP quad. So you're just here rambling and
Okay.
you're not factual.
All right, guys.
not
It's safe
factual.
to say.
It's not factual.
It's safe to
It's not
say
factual.
we
It's
can
all right,
move
man.
on from this one.
Just handle the L with, handle
we-
the L with grace.
I kind of
No,
we kind of know where you guys
Listen,
are both
listen.
on this one.
There's one thing with me. I don't duck from anything. I don't hide from anything. Lakers lost,
Mm.
period. But for you to say, for me to be worried about the loss, no, because everybody had Lakers winning. You had the Lakers winning.
I did, but I was just
Period.
I had them losing the first round last year and they became champions. So I figured if I pull an Uno card, an Uno reversal,
Here we go.
that,
Here we go. Here we go.
and lo and
Here
behold,
we
it
go.
actually works.
Here we
So
go. Here we go. Here we go.
curious.
Here we go. End of the day,
Okay.
I'll leave it at this. Lakers were disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Lakers, more specifically, more disappointed in LeBron James because you guys know how
The GOAT, right?
you guys know how I feel about that. I say all the time, like he's a great player, but he's not my goal, and I hate I hate watching him play because he's the most frustrating superstar to watch play. But with that being said, everybody knows if Lakers were healthy, they would have won that series. Period.
My grievance with LeBron has always been the same, and people want to call it hate. Go ahead. If that's what helps bronzexuals come to terms with the truth, then fine. That when Game 5 was the time where LeBron should show why he's the GOAT to everybody, right?
There were numerous times. There were numerous times tonight. Even in Game 6, in Game 6 when
Yep.
like if you want to be like honest about everything, Lakers didn't play bad. Like they won quarter 2,
Mhm.
they won quarter 3, and they tied quarter 4. So
Facts.
in 3 out of the 4 quarters, like they were competing, like they were out there competing. They were hitting shots. They were
Well,
playing
4 of them
defense.
were.
Well, I mean, even Kuzma in the game, like he wasn't hitting shots, but he's there, like getting second chance. Like he's doing the stuff that you expect your role players to do in those games. Like if you were telling me before the game, okay, Kuzma's gonna drop 40 points, I'll say yeah, right. If you tell me, okay, Kuzma's gonna go there and work hard, maybe hit a few shots, sure. Like that's his role in that game. As I said in the group chat, like that all came down to LeBron James. If he came out in that game in the first 5 minutes and asserted his dominance, like went to the rim. Like even if he went 0 for 100, as I said, I'd be content with it because that kind of assertion of dominance, like your troops are gonna follow suit. They're not gonna look around and say, "Oh, like can we do that? Can we do that?" No, they're gonna say, "Oh shit, this guy is like the LeBron James out here hooping, getting into the rim, doing what he gotta do. Like we got a chance, we can follow suit." And as you've seen, nothing changed until Dennis Schroeder started to take things personal.
Yep.
Right.
A
So
little too late, but yeah.
of course, but
Yeah.
I put Game 7 on LeBron James. Period.
Game 6?
Game 6 on LeBron James. Period.
I'll put 5 and 6 on LeBron, to be honest. 5
Period.
and 6. For everybody was saying no, 5 wasn't the game. 5 was the game. 80 went down. Chris Paul's injury is still in the air. You know what I'm saying? So their leader, the veteran leader, has one wing. You know what I'm saying? And you clowned the other dude with playoff experience. You clowned Crowder in Game 3. So Game 5 was the time to show us why LeBron James is the king. And instead, he acted like a spoiled brat that wasn't getting the narrative and the control that he wanted or he thought he deserved, right? So much so that he left halfway through the fourth quarter. You can't be in GOAT talks and you're leaving your team halfway through the fourth quarter in a make or break game that started the momentum. And in Game 6, you don't even shake hands. bro. Like that's the GOAT, that's the king. No, it's the complete opposite. So LeBron, and this is my beef with LeBron, is that it's all about narrative. It's not about actual factual, right? Everybody was going crazy about the shot he did in the play-in tournament. That was a low pressure shot. That's why he made it.
I don't think
Put
so.
that in. Put him in that position. Game 7 against Kawhi. It's game 7. They're down by 1 or 2, and it's Kawhi on them, and it's 5 seconds left. What's Bron doing in that situation?
Hold on. I want to hear what Dewayne has to say on this too, because y'all dominated this conversation.
My bad. Hey, it's been 6 weeks. My bad. I haven't done this in a minute.
These guys getting off the stuff off the chest. Damn, like, jeez. No, I mean, they pretty much said it. Like, we've been beating this with a dead horse. Like, we all had the Lakers winning. We all had them go at least get into the finals. I know I did. But
I did too.
Injuries, you can't foresee that stuff. You just can't. Yeah. It just comes down to that. You can't foresee these things. It happens with every team, every year.
I agree.
It's always the same thing. Teams get injured. The best players, Brooklyn, they're dealing with that right now with James Harden. Who knows what's going to happen with them? I have them going to the finals too. What if it doesn't happen? Anything can happen in the NBA, especially
judging by this last game. I don't think there's doubt.
Well, so I know, but you don't know.
So what I'll say is
they should fire Bud immediately. Like before, as I said, like before he gets to the locker room, his stuff should be in a black garbage bag, just waiting for him. Like
eviction notice on the desk.
Desk. On the locker. No, the door to the locker room. Like you know you go NBA how they put the code in to get the locker room. He put the code in, can't even get in. Like immediately, like the fact that Bucks have shot 7 free throws in the game, that is unfathomable to me. Like that's ridiculous.
So I'll say to end off this topic is injuries do happen, and we do see the effect of it. But was I happy with the fact that Lakers lost? Yes, because ecstatic. I had to sit on an episode with the opinionated bench warmers and coach, and they were talking about the Lakers win and just kept bringing it up and 2020 championship. And I was like, I don't want to repeat, because if we ever do a collab again, I'm going to have to hear it all over again. So they
were bragging about the Mickey Mouse O'Brien. That's what they were bragging about.
Hey, but you know what though? I don't know if y'all saw Damian Lillard on IG. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
We're well aware. We're well aware.
That, man, so.
All right.
Who knows, man?
You're already starting for 2022, eh?
I am, man. I'm in it, man. Hey, one thing about me, you always know where to find me.
Only a Laker fan.
I am a Laker diehard. You know where to find me. I don't duck no smoke. I'm here. I'm in it always. So
let's move on to the next.
See you next year, man. See you next year. To be continued.
Bro, just enjoy the vacation for now, man.
Nah, man. I'm in it, man. I'm in it. Trying to recruit free agents right now. I'm in it, man.
All right, we have 7 more games to go, so we can't spend 20 minutes on one series. So next one was Portland and Denver. Denver 1-6.
The crazy thing is about that series, Denver is a better team. But I thought that with all the injuries, like this is the one team that like everything you know and you believe about like basketball and having like have injuries affect, as we just talked about Lakers and stuff, like Denver is the complete opposite. Like they're dismantled from injuries. They don't have Jamal Murray, they don't have Barton, they don't have other guy who they don't have. Is his name Harris?
Gary Harris.
Yeah, they're basically down, and like Bol. They're basically down 4 rotation players, and they still beat Portland. So like I don't know if that speaks highly to Denver and the Joker and that coaching staff, and the way how they believe in each other, or if it speaks like higher to Portland and the fact that they need to blow shit up because clearly it's not working. You know, like Dame had 55 against a team that's beat up and lost.
Yep.
So
the whole series is crazy. Dame, and it's obvious that Dame needs to kind of look elsewhere, especially since he made one request and they couldn't even do that. So,
Well,
I don't know,
he did.
man. Look,
He did come out saying that it's not important. Like, it's not like, what do you say? It's not like mandatory for them to get the head coach for Jason Kidd or whatever.
judging by last off season, people will say a whole bunch of things, and then the very next day they're in a new jersey. So I don't take talk anymore. I kind of see what happens when Woj gets on Twitter, and take that as fact. So if I was Damian Lillard, what's the reason for me to stay? You know what I'm
Zero
saying?
reason.
Don't pull a Giannis. Like actually look, or other than money, right? Unless they can offer him like everything.
He has
Two and Jamil.
He has 4 years left on his deal. 4
Okay.
So
years,
there's
$160 million left on his $190 million left.
there's
So-
two things that I saw that could be like the next whatever. Like the one thing is I saw two trades. One was Paul George for CJ, and then another one was like
Interesting.
Melo and picks and stuff. They would keep Dame and CJ, and then they would bring in Cat. So those are two things I saw. I'm like, oh, maybe those could work. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't know what. I think they honestly gotta pick between Dame and CJ.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
and just start
Yep.
and just start over. I think if I was
And that
them,
choice is pretty easy.
if I was them, I'd pick Dame, obviously. But
Yeah.
I don't know what they can get for CJ on the market right now.
To me, we're way past trying to make the CJ Dame thing work. I think we're past this now. I think it's
Bro,
time to
they've-
split these guys up and let the chips fall where they may with that team, because those two, it's just not working. It's just not working.
Well,
There's a-
game 3 was apparent.
There was a stat I saw that I think Portland has been eliminated 4 of the 5 last playoffs in the first round.
Jeez.
The problem that Portland has, to me, is not even the fact of Dame and CJ. It's the fact of they don't have real size. So if your backcourt is going to be as short as they are,
Mhm.
your front three needs to be taller, that can either spread the floor, hit consistent shots and stuff. Like if you look at a person like Nurkic,
Nurkic, yeah.
If you remember, he played in Denver with Jokic.
And he got beat out of his spot.
So this was a time to take that personally, right? But he averaged 5 fouls a game for the series. That's not going to help you. Then off your bench, you have Cantor coming off your bench to try defending. That's not.
He's not defensive. He's never been known for defense.
Right. So you got to look at. I was surprised that they didn't pick up like a McGee when McGee was out there, because I thought, or even a Drummond at that point. Like I knew Drummond was going to end up on the Lakers, but I'm saying Portland has never been a place where that attracts the free agents that they need. And
they tried to. They tried to get what's his name? The guy who was on Miami who had like a triple double with blocks. Like
Whiteside?
2 years ago. Whiteside, yeah, Whiteside.
they did have Whiteside.
I know what I'm saying. They tried to get him to add him for defense and rebounding and size.
Didn't work.
It didn't work. Yeah.
But
I mean, it's Whiteside.
But there's a huge difference between like Whiteside put up. He wasn't Whiteside at that point. He hasn't been Whiteside in a very long time.
He was dealing with a lot of injuries too.
Yeah, I'm saying a player like McGee that you don't got to worry about giving him the ball, but you know he's gonna bring that energy that you need.
The dirty work.
Right? He's gonna do all that stuff. Like he doesn't get as many fouls, whatever. If Nurkic gets into issues, then you have a big on there that will be able to play defense, still run the floor. Like he runs up and down, like he's up there with the guards. You know what I mean? Like Cantor is not doing that. Nurkic is in foul trouble. Like who do you have, right? So,
do you guys think Portland is just cursed? Because like if you go back to the history, back to 1984, like when they drafted Sam Bowie, he got hurt. Drafted they chose Greg Oden over KD. Greg Oden got hurt. They drafted Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy got hurt.
I don't think they're cursed. I just don't think they can build a team properly. I think that's what it comes down to.
Now they got
Those
Dame.
facilities must be brought to question.
Now they got Dame, and he's healthy, he's loyal, but he ain't got no help.
Yeah, they just don't know how to build properly around any superstar that they get in that team. They can't figure it out.
And on this one, the only two people to get it right were Essay and Dewayne.
Yeah, I for sure had.
I chose Portland. I chose Lakers. So let's move on to the rest.
Yeah.
Game 7 happened yesterday of the time of recording, and that was Clippers and Mavericks. Game 7, Kawhi took over Game 6.
Honestly, he's been playing great the whole series, bro.
He has been. But when I mean take over, I mean that was his 45 point. Tied his career high on that one. Knew it was a loser or go home. And this is not if he was to do that, he wouldn't hear the end of it. So Game 7 happened. And one of the comments that I think Coach you said in the group chat was, is Luka and KP beefing? And I think it's even more apparent after Game 7. Like, Game 7 really showed it for me. I wasn't paying attention to it, but it did really show it for me. So what were you guys' thoughts on the Clippers advancing, even though Mavericks had a 3-2 lead, and it was only it was
I knew.
I mean 2-0, but then it was 3-2 going into Game 6, and the visitors team won every single game except for Game 7.
Yeah, I knew if we got to a Game 7, they were going to win a Game 7.
But you knew after Game 6, you mean? Like once the Dallas lost that game.
After Game 6, I'm like, there's no way they're going to win a Game 7 just because they don't have enough veteran. Like Luka can play great, and they don't have enough veteran leadership. I don't trust Porzingis, and like in order to win a Game 7, you need guys who can get their own shot. Like you need guys who don't need to rely on, because the Game 7 is all about like who has the best players and which best players play the best when they need to. So you watch like back to like Golden State and all that stuff, like all that stuff. Yeah, injuries too, but it's always like every Game 7 is decided by superstars. Yeah, one way or another. Like it
has to be.
You go back to like Lakers in Boston when Kobe shot horribly, but he had like 22 rebounds. like, you know what I mean? So like every Game 7 is kind of like that. So I knew they were going to win that Game 7. But going back to like Game 4, as I said in the group, like the Mavs fumbled the ball. They fumbled the bag because they had
them on the ropes.
They had them on the ropes. They're up 20 points in the first quarter. And for me, like as a coach, like when you know you have the momentum, like you kind of have to ride. You have to make game time decisions. You got to make adjustments, right? Like playoffs are about adjustments. Yeah, and like what they did was it's chess. Yeah, so like what they did was so Luka usually sits down to start the second quarter. So he'll play like 12 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever, in the first quarter, and then start the second quarter, and then come in like 7 minutes to go or whatever in the second quarter. But what they should have done is they had the momentum. They're up 20, so they should have played Luka and tried to push that lead to 30 and like kind of like put your foot on their neck. But what they did was they allowed the bench to get in, get a rhythm.
Yeah, they took their foot off the brake.
Exactly, because Paul George, Kawhi, all those guys, they stayed in the game and they're playing against the second unit and they got a rhythm, they got confidence, they start talking. You saw Kawhi start getting confident. And then once that happened, it's tough to stop the ball from rolling downhill.
Could that have been Luka's decision though? Like
I don't think so. Well, partly, but the Luka's defense, his second year in the playoffs. He's a young guy. Like he's just doing what his coach wants him to do. Like you know, like I doubt he might have the ability to say that because he runs Dallas. Like you know, he's that guy on that team. So he might have the ability to say that, but I don't think he's at the point of his career where he's like, no, I'm staying in the game. Like you know what I mean? Like Braun, KD, Kyrie, Giannis, like those guys, if they say put me in the game, he put him in the game. Trae Young, like those guys, like they still have some rapport in the league, but they're kind of at that stage still where a coach would say, no, sit the fuck down. Like they still have that
even after
that kind of rapport.
The games he's been having,
I think so.
And knowing Luka, you don't think he probably got a little spicy on the sidelines and kind of started
maybe, but
he runs the show.
You gotta also understand that Rick Carlisle is like he is a legend in the game. Like he was back, he was playing on those Boston Celtics teams that were winning championships, right? So he was part of that. He was a coach when Dallas won their only chip. So he's like a legend, like in the league, right? So he's one of those guys that like when he speaks, you listen, you know, like just like with Spoelstra in Miami, like even though he only coached. He's like probably the longest tenure coach right now. But when they were winning championships, he was a young guy. But he's been in the league prior to that for 20 years. You know, guys like that, you like as much as Luka probably wanted to stay on the court, you just gotta coach, go ahead.
Am I the only one that thinks that we expect a lot from a 21-year-old? Like he doesn't seem like it.
Sure.
He doesn't seem like it because he was playing pro as a teenager, but he's still a kid at the end of the day.
For sure.
And these guys expect a lot from him.
A lot.
Here's the thing. It's the kids who are leading the way, man. Booker, Trae. Like for
sure. I'm just saying there's a lot to put on these guys' Luka, shoulders, and we can't expect them to not falter at some point. We can't expect that from these guys.
But honestly, I don't think Luka
he didn't falter. That's what I'm saying. He played well, but we can't expect if they fall to come out short. Like, these guys are still.
The problem with Dallas is they don't have a secondary ball handler. So losing, like as much, like at the beginning of the year, I liked Dallas because I thought they added some tough guys to help. Because you watch last year in the playoffs, like Luka got beat up and nobody did nothing.
Yeah.
Morris stepped on his ankle and nobody did anything. This year, what they did at the beginning of the year is they got what's that crazy guy who the K9 fighter, K1 fighter dude. His name Johnson, James Johnson. So they signed James Johnson. They traded for Josh Richardson. So you got two guys who play defense who are like tough guys to kind of help Luka. And end of the year, James Johnson is gone and Josh Richardson hardly played. So it's like they didn't really have they traded away Seth Curry, who they could have used that series for shooting.
They could have used
ball handling. They could have used Seth Curry, right? So it's like, they're. If I'm them, I'm moving KP.
I mean, it seems to me he's already disgruntled, so it looks like they're probably looking at options right now because from what
what Kuzma.
Nah, I don't want that. Honestly, as much as Kuzma didn't show up,
choosing right now.
As much as Kuzma didn't show up, like he's one of those guys that you kind of need to keep on your roster. Because any given game you can he's like J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is like you never know when he's gonna show up, but he'll have that one game where he hits like 11 threes.
He goes off.
He hits, you know what I mean? Like
is Kuzma on Clutch Sports? Is he part of it?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't doubt it. Like half the Lakers are on Clutch. So I wouldn't doubt it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So for me, I just look at it real simple. I think that I do understand everyone saying that Rick Carlisle is a legend, but I also think that Dallas needs a new voice. And people made it sound like I was crazy when I say that, but I look at it as simple as, and I know this isn't the same equivalent, but I look at it kind of like this. When Sam Mitchell was the coach of the Raptors, he was the voice and everything. But when they made that one simple switch with Nick Nurse, which kind of changed some of the not Sam Mitchell, I mean Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey. And then when they made and Dwayne Casey was there for a long time. They were getting to the playoffs, all that stuff, right? But they weren't advancing. And I understand everyone says it's because of Braun, all this stuff, whatever. But at that same time, there is a certain amount of things that one voice can always bring, and sometimes you have to make those switches, right? And I think that Carlisle, as much as he has legendary status of when he played and bringing Dallas their first championship, there really hasn't been a level of success close to that since then. And it's either been missing playoffs, getting eliminated in the first round. Like last year, I think we were able to make it. He was able to get the excuse of injuries, right? Because in that series against Clippers last year, KP got injured, then Luka got injured, and it was just Luka was playing hurt for like the last 3 games, I think it was. And this year, people had way higher expectations for Dallas. Like a lot of people had Dallas top 4 team, all this other stuff. Like nobody saw Utah doing what Utah did, but they had Dallas up there top 4 team. All right. And they were.
I'll say this though. I'll say this. So in regards to Carlisle, yes, he's been there for a long time. And yeah, sometimes you need to change your voice. Like in that Raptors situation, you're 100% right. Like they're tuning out Dwayne Casey, especially the superstars. But I think in this case with Dallas, I don't think that's the case, because you look at that roster, there's not a lot of guys on that roster who are long tenured guys. So
I said it's not the same equivalent.
Superstars?
I said it's not the same equivalent, but I'm saying I'm use the Raptors just for the simple fact of the change of voice. I'm not saying I'm not looking at the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to it. I'm not looking at all of that. I'm just saying that sometimes when you have if you look, I don't even want to use this for football. So if even for Golden State, when it was Mark Jackson as the coach the whole time, and then they brought in Steve Kerr. Mm-hmm. Steve Kerr added one player and made a little bit of a switch to a certain thing, and then you saw the big improvement that made on the team. Sometimes it's just,
I agree, but like I think that roster with them right now has only been together with Carlisle for like 2 years. So I don't think like, I think it's similar, but I don't think it's the same thing, because like, and all those situations that you said before, like Mark Jackson was with Golden State for like 4 or 5 years prior to Sam Mitchell. I mean, Dwayne Casey was Raptors for like 5-6 years. I think even though Carlisle has been with Dallas for an extended period of time, like 10 plus years, whatever the case is, the roster he has right now is all primarily guys who only been there for 2 years. I think the longest tenure guy on that roster right now might be Powell. I think he might be the longest tenure, because Luka's been there 2 years.
I think so.
Like everyone there only been there for 2-3 years. So yeah, like maybe.
So my question is, when is he ever going to be on the hot seat? If he gets eliminated like this for the next 2 years, is he still on the hot seat? Or
that's a valid question.
Are we still looking at it as the fact that he's only been with this group for 4 years? I
mean, sure. Like if it gets to that point where they've been eliminated first round or so, and it's the same group of guys, then yeah, then I think that point is very valid, where the players just tune them out. I think that's a very very valid point. I'm not saying it's a wrong point; it's a very valid point. But I think in this situation with this group of guys, I don't think it connects the same way, because they're still like it's a new group of guys. So it's like, I understand if it was like an older roster that has heard the same voice for 4 or 5, whatever, how much years, but like literally, like Luka's been there for 2 years. Like KP's been there for a season and a half. Finney Smith has been there for a season and a half. Josh Richardson been there for a year. Like all these guys are still like this roster is still like, they look at the roster, they're all young guys who are relatively new. Like Maxi Kleber been there for 2 years. Like all these guys are just like they just hit last year. Like Maxi Kleber was on Detroit, I think. Detroit or Cleveland before. Right? So these are all guys who I would say give them a year or two, man. Like if they go back at it again next year and they're worse, get rid of look at making a move. Like I would say what they need to do is make a move this year for KP, because Luka is kind of at that stage right now where he's still cheap. Luka will sign an extension after next season. So if he signs that 5-year, 195, whatever it is contract, it limits you in getting free agents. It limits you in making a trade for a big name guy. But if you it's just like with football. Like you look at any team who's successful in football, they usually win with their quarterback on a rookie deal. So you look at Kansas City, they won with a quarterback on a rookie deal. Look at who was it that? Like Ravens were like they're making all these moves, their quarterback on a rookie deal, right? But once you got to pay people, it makes it harder to make your team better. So I think if they're gonna make a move, this is the offseason where they should look to make a move, like try and go and get Luka. I don't know if CJ McCollum is the answer, but like getting him a guy like that who he can rely on.
Yeah.
I'll give it. Me personally, I'll give it one more year, but I don't know.
I give it one more year too. I think
thing.
3 shots and that's it.
It's just the thing because I also think it was a failed experiment with KP for them. And I think that Carlisle had to sign off on that for that to happen, right? And that's, to me right now, is a failed experiment, right? And
he missed like 40 games there too, I think, right?
With the amount that he was getting paid too. Like this is just,
he's like,
it's just a thing. All right, let's move on. So we got Utah and everyone chose the Clippers for that one, so everyone got that one right.
Wait, for what?
For the last one. For
Mavs
Clippers.
There's only one person who chose Dallas. MJ chose Dallas to go to the finals. Oh no, Western Finals.
Whoa.
Yeah, he did. That's
whoa.
But he's not on here, so I was just talking about the people that's on. So
he made that pick, and I'm like, yo, you're wild. Like, sure,
imagine Clippers go to conference finals.
I'm like, I don't like Clippers, but there's no way Dallas is gonna get to the conference finals. There's no way.
Y'all know his Clippers started playing good when LA was eliminated.
Oh yeah, Utah versus Memphis.
I thought it was gonna be a sweep. I was surprised that Memphis.
I did too.
I was surprised that Memphis. I was pleasantly surprised that Memphis got a win. Like, I'm happy for Dylan Brooks. I'm happy for John Morant. Like, Dylan
Brooks is hooping,
bro. Like, he's making a case for himself that he should be one of the all defensive teams for sure. Like even in like the games versus Warriors and stuff. Like, if you look at the game versus Warriors where they lost at the end of the year, like they played Warriors and they were up by like 15-20, and then not 20, that's a boost. Maybe like 12-15 they're up, and then Dylan Brooks got fouled out. And that's when Steph went on that ramp. We had like 12 straight points, whatever. And then Golden State ended up winning that game. But like Dylan Brooks, like he's making a name for himself. But going back to the series, Utah is just like I said at the beginning of the year. Like I was one of the only guys that said Utah is one of the teams where I'd be worried about because they have everything. They have coaching, they have size, they have shooting, they have guard play. They finally have emerging superstar. Like we always knew that Spider was good, but he's like he's always been just a scorer. No. Shaq said he was good, but he said that he challenged him.
Shaq said that for a reason. He did that for a reason.
But
and you're seeing it.
Hate?
Exactly. No, not
you're seeing what you're seeing exactly. You're seeing what Shaq. You're seeing what Shaq did.
So you look at Mitchell last year. He's always been a scorer, a high volume scorer that doesn't get his team involved. And what he's doing now,
him and Murray were going back and forth.
With scoring, But what he's doing now is he's scoring the ball. He's not scoring the ball as much because Utah has Clarkson and Ingles off the bench who are competing for Sixth Man of the Year. So he's not scoring as high of a clip, but he's scoring when he needs to score, making the big plays. And they're using him as a point guard. A point guard. So what happened was when Utah made because remember last year in the series, Denver was up I think 2-1 or 2-0. They're up like 2-1, 3-2 something. They're up in the series last year. And what happened was Utah made the switch to put
Spider at 1.
Put Mitchell at 1, and what happened was they start going pick and roll, and he was killing them. And from that point, what he's been doing the whole year is that they're putting him at the 1, so they're making him a decision maker now, and they're letting guys like Conley spot up and slash. So like Utah is dangerous, man. And last year they didn't have Bogdanovic who scored 20 a game, so they're fully healthy. They're confident.
They're healthy,
They got size, they got shooting, they got coaching, they got star. Like they're one of those teams that I don't think they can. Like I don't think they could beat the Lakers if Lakers were healthy, but they're one of those teams that with Lakers not there and the West is wide open, so I think they can get the finals this year. Like they're one of those teams that like if things click and if they're playing well and like they're one of those teams that they have a chance, man. They have a chance.
Yeah, it is a little open this year. You're right about that.
It's wide open, man. Especially since like Lakers were obviously my team to get the finals, but with Lakers not there, like it's like you can make a case for Clippers to get to the finals, for Utah to get to the finals. If things work well, like Phoenix played the best basketball of the entire season, and if they're playing like that with Cameron Payne shooting the ball, and and Crowder, if they're playing like that,
I just don't know if they can maintain it for the rest of the playoffs. I don't think they can keep on with it.
And CP3's staying
injured
in some kind of state.
Yeah, like but if they can play at that level right there, they can get to the finals. So it's wide open to me.
Anything could happen.
All right.
Everyone chose
the East.
Everyone chose Utah. So moving to the East, I am the only person to pick Atlanta to beat New York.
I was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
That is fact.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming.
Like looking at it, I knew you can look at the rosters and say, okay, New York and Atlanta. Atlanta clearly has a better roster. That's without question. They have a better roster. But my whole thing was I thought that New York's physicality, New York's veteran leadership, New York's size, their coaching, I thought all of that stuff would have proved too much to handle for the young Atlanta Hawks team, especially since they got rid of Rondo. I thought there's no way that they can beat a veteran team because they you look at their roster, they don't have. I think their veteran player is Clint Capella.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, right? Like,
isn't it Gallinari?
Might be Gallinari, yeah. Gallinari and Clint Capella. So those are the veterans. So I'm like, there's no way that they have a chance to beat a team like New York who has Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson and Tom Thibodeau, and you got like this this wide array of those guys who are experienced and talented. So yeah, Atlanta definitely, and yeah, they definitely surprised me. I did not see that coming at all.
I think Atlanta figured out how to neutralize Randall, and that was make him a ball handler.
He played trash.
I think that's what they figured out. They're like, listen, let's keep the ball in his hands and let's let him just go one-on-one. Because he's doing that a lot. He was always in the perimeter.
If you look at what they did, they didn't thing. What they always did was know that he was gonna go towards his left. So they always doubled up somebody on his left to force him to pass out. So he was either gonna take the shot or he's gonna try to pass out, and they took advantage of that. And he was making a lot of bad plays because of that. Yeah, and so it was great to see Derrick Rose have a great series because that was, I think, to me, the highlights of the playoff was Derrick Rose play and obviously Trae Young's play, right? But
of the playoffs or of the series?
Of the series. But for me, I was just happier. I was happy I was right, but I was happier to see Derrick Rose have such a great series because he was hooping. He was hooping. And for people that thought he probably wouldn't, and for him, he probably thought he wasn't going to get like this opportunity again like that because of all the injuries and all that stuff, like the Cleveland, all that stuff. So to me, I was happy for that. So let's move on. It seemed like it was light work for Milwaukee. Was that the only sweep of the
first round? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I don't think there's much to dissect with that.
There wasn't even any gentleman
was going to happen.
No, you can I think Milwaukee is a best.
Was it a sweep or was it 5 games?
I don't think.
No.
I don't think Miami got a game, bro.
Miami didn't win a game.
Miami didn't win a game.
I think Miami got a game.
Shout out Jermaine and
they got blown out They got blown out by 30 in 3 other games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think looking
at
the
series, Jermaine and Joy.
Shout out to them. Yeah, gone fishing like my team. So, I think looking at it, we all knew Bucks had a better roster. The only question in that whole series is Giannis going to show up. It's not who's going to win. Like we all think, okay, the Bucks going to win. It's just is Giannis going to show up or not? And that's the question that we have right now with the Brooklyn series too. So,
did Washington get swept?
No,
they got a game.
They got one.
Okay,
4-1.
Damn, Westbrook got one.
But no, Beal got one.
Oh yeah, true.
Beal got one.
True.
Westbrook,
I'm not gonna give it to Westbrook.
Yeah,
he had what 3 for 19.
Yeah, Westbrook didn't have a game. He didn't win that game for them.
Yeah,
not at all. No, not at all.
But yes, the Heat was cooled down.
enjoy talking about.
Nobody showed up.
West Goats.
Ah!
West Goats. Come on now. Cut
The
it out.
Wikipedia goat. That's what he
Cut
is.
it out, man. Cut it
He's a
out.
Wikipedia goat for best records.
So
Let's
yeah,
see, triple
Essay, what were
doubles.
you,
Yeah.
what were you saying
Huh?
about Miami? You were in the middle of talking about Miami, and then
No, I just said that the Heat cooled down in Miami. Again, another team that there's a lot of talk around because they swept the Bucks last season. Did they sweep them last season?
4-1.
So it was a gentleman's sweep last season. Was it? No, I don't remember. But yeah, they demolished them last season, and there's a lot of talk about how Heat are better, Heat are stronger. But no, they apparently not. So
They have
I'm interested.
all regressed. Every single player on that roster has regressed.
Exactly. There's no more Bam. He's more of a fizzle. Jimmy Buckets, became Jimmy Buckty.
Bro,
I saw
a stat that
Tyler No Hero.
No. It was with Jimmy Butler and who's the other dude? Who's the other dude, man? Basically saying that Jimmy Butler scored less points than this guy on the Bucks.
Jesus Christ.
Who was it? It's gonna bother me now, man. It's like Jimmy Butler had like 68 points, and the other guy who was like a no-name guy, not a no-name guy, but I don't remember who it was.
Once again, I just want to call out the fact.
It was Bryn Forbes. Forbes had like 74 points.
Jesus.
So that shows you how great Jimmy Butler was playing. That's the superstar Jimmy Butler was playing.
If only there was.
I say superstar with like quotes because he's not a superstar.
I know. If I was gonna follow up and say if only there was somebody here on the podcast episode who could defend against that statement. It's a little cool in here. If only there was some Heat representation, but they're ducking. So moving on. What's the next?
Dwayne, you want to start off this one? 76ers in Washington.
It was a pretty good series for the most part. I mean, we knew Washington. We knew Washington. I wanted Washington to perform well in that series from a personal standpoint. Like just everyone, how they talk on Westbrook and Bradley Beal. Like I keep quiet about a lot of the stuff they say about the team, but deep down, I really I really want Westbrook to win. As much as a lot of scrutiny this guy gets over his career, and even Beal too, I'd like to see these guys win something, at least advance out of the first round. But I mean, Philadelphia, they're just a way stronger team than Washington, and it was inevitable. I'm surprised Washington even got one win.
Me too, 100%.
I mean, that series, we all knew how that was going to end.
Shout out to Westbrook for all he's doing off court. I respect everything he's doing with his clothing line and his charities and with the movement and everything. So shout out to him.
And opening up a school in LA.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want what I'm gonna say next to diminish those qualities and those accomplishments that he's had. I have mad respect, but I believe he's a stat patter. I believe that he cares more about Wikipedia records than an actual championship. That's what I believe. I believe that, and his playoff record, his postseason record, it speaks up for itself. So at some point, we gotta just accept the fact that that's just who he is. There's nothing wrong with it. If that's what you're focused on, true. But you cannot be getting accredited for everything else that comes with actually fighting for a ring versus fighting for stats. And I just think he cares more about his line, his stat line, than actually getting to a championship. I don't think he'll ever see a finals ever again.
To me, it doesn't seem like he's stat padding. I just think that he never has anyone good in his team, to be honest. Like he never has people to really help him get to the next level. I think he just does whatever it takes. I think
have James Harden.
No, he's saying after that finals.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah,
he's saying
he had James Harden when he was on Houston.
Bro, I'm talking about after all that stuff. Like And James
After
Harden wasn't
his
even
last
100%. James Harden wasn't even 100% that season.
And we gotta think about the James Harden that he had with him in the playoffs. Like that was you gotta
The
remember
man was like 250 pounds, wasn't he? I mean, like, am I missing something here? Like, that's the guy that's gonna help me with a
Body
championship.
shame Dre Rock, bro.
I'm just saying, like,
Body shaming? Come on, man.
you guys are talking about like that's the
Come
James
on,
Harden
man.
that
Body
that's like
shaming.
the superstar James Harden we know. That was like James Harden at his worst. I don't think that counts. I don't think we should be counting James
and I
Harden.
just and I do agree with Fanfare to a certain extent because I look at it like this. When it was just Westbrook on OKC, they had decent players and stuff, but like I think Westbrook was a problem on that one, right?
Yep.
I can say that. But then you have to think about one of the last peoples that he played with, Pandemic P, right? Like that was the 1 year that Blazers advanced, and that was over OKC. And that if we're looking at that at that one, and that was that infamous wave goodbye, right?
For the birth of Pandemic P.
And then we
Or
had that was
Earth. He's been like that since Indiana, man.
no, but that was the year when he said he was playoff P. Like there was no remember there was
and
no
then his teammates were laughing at him. Melo and Russ. You say an interview?
Yeah.
Like, and then,
but I'm saying that's
playoff P?
that's
what he
where
calls himself?
that's where
Way
the whole
off P.
that's where the whole Pandemic P, all that stuff came off, was because he gave himself that nickname playoff P in OKC and did not do anything. Then you go to Houston, and Houston was a 3-point shooting team, right? Like that's what that team was. Nobody played in the middle. Like they play 5 outs, and
Hey, don't disrespect
whatever,
CJ.
right? But then you're gonna put Westbrook
PJ
try to
Tucker.
make don't forget PJ Tucker led the lead in corner threes, and that's exactly where he
did
was.
this year too.
They were averaging like 43s a night. That team. It was crazy.
Like if you look at PJ Tucker, he only takes threes when he's in the corner, and that's why that's his money shot, right? But then you have Westbrook in the other corner. Like that's not, if you gotta choose, man, like that doesn't help him out. But I think them getting to the playoffs was Westbrook's success this one, because if you look at their record when there was only like 12 games left, and they went on that crazy run to get into the play-in tournament stuff, that was his playoffs.
Yeah, the Raptors had a better record than them. That was crazy to me. I'm just like, wow, they jumped ahead of us.
I think they went from 12th to 8th.
Yeah.
Was it 8th?
It was 13. No, it was 13th. They were 13th.
Yeah, so they went
from 13th to 8th.
Yeah. So that was his playoffs, to tell you the truth. He knew getting into the playoffs he wasn't advancing. But thing. And then the last series was Brooklyn and Boston.
I was surprised Boston got a game.
I agree.
Facts.
I thought Brooklyn was.
I thought that was a sweep too. I thought that was a sweep as well.
Especially seeing that there's no Jaylen Brown. I thought for sure they're gonna get swept. Even if Jaylen Brown was there, I say maybe it'd be 5-game series, maybe 6-game series. But the fact that he was not there and they got a game,
I was happy Boston got a game, because on the NBA pick'em I had Brooklyn in 5. I don't know why I thought so. I just thought Tatum was gonna have like a 50 or 60.
He's gonna ascend one game.
Like I just and he did have a
50 piece.
That was the game that they won, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they needed everything from Tatum.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's I still think that Tice trade hurt them. The Tice
everything hurt them. Going for Kemba hurt them. Letting Hayward walk for nothing hurt them. Like they've made a lot of bad moves in the last 2 years, man.
Fournier.
Honestly, I like Fournier for them. I just don't know what kind of Fournier they have. Like I don't know who this person is that they have right now, but
he just doesn't seem like he's settled on that team yet, right? Like he's just kind of floating around.
But Evan Fournier is one of those guys that he can shoot the ball. Like he's a scorer, and I don't know if that Boston culture fits them, because those guys that compete, they play great. They know they play physical. I don't like. He's not that kind of guy. Like he might do well on like Atlanta or like one of those teams that like to spread the ball and
Hey, when you
Or
spend so
I can
long,
see him good on Toronto.
or Toronto, yeah.
hey,
But
when
I
you
know
spend
no, because
no.
Toronto, like even though like they're small and stuff, like they compete. Like Lanvey, Kyle Lowry, like you have to ask those guys if they're working hard. Maybe like maybe Pascal, you gotta ask him a few times.
Maybe the mentality rubs off on them.
Like OG,
Maybe the
like-
mentality rubs off on them. Everyone that
And,
goes
like-
to Toronto, that mentality just somehow rubs off on them. That's what I see from a lot of those guys.
Some people like you looked at what's his name? Who's there? Rondé
Chris
Hollis Jefferson.
Oh, Hollis Jefferson.
Yeah, like
No, he worked hard.
He's not there. But he's not there anymore, though. He's not there anymore, though.
But
Nah,
he worked hard.
he's still
when he
playing
was,
right now.
when he was on Toronto, though. Like I would say
Yep.
that, but
Oh,
my
definitely.
problem with I think the thing with Fournier was you're looking at a real culture change because you're going from Orlando that was at the bottom
100%.
of the bottom for so long, probably only made the playoffs I think last season in the bubble, like if we,
His
if-
first game, he played like 30 minutes and had 0 points, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 rebounds.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
0, 0, 0, and 0.
and y'all wanted to get that J. Cole. And now, by the way,
I'm
so
watching the game right now, by the way.
J. Cole game?
No, the
No. Like, bro, he played like 5 games that had 4 points. Come on.
no, you retired. By the way, so before we wrap up real quick,
yeah.
In Rwanda.
let's talk about all the changes that has happened. So Terry Stout out, Steve Clifford out,
Good riddance.
Danny Ainge out,
Good riddance. He's awful, man.
Brad Stevens moved up to basketball ops, and they're gonna bring in a new coach.
Somebody said it in the group chat, man, but I agree. He's the only person in the world that can get fired and get promotion in the same day.
Sounds about right.
That's exactly it.
Nate McMillan is doing a hell of a job in Atlanta.
If he doesn't get a big contract, man, you know what's up in the NBA because the fact that they made it to the playoffs after being injured most of the year, made it to the playoffs, won the first round, and then beat Philly in the first game. Like if he doesn't get a 4-year deal,
oh, he's definitely got to get that money.
That's crazy.
Tibbs won
Coach of the
year. There was one more coach that's out, Nate Bjorn of Indiana. He's out.
They were disappointed this year. Yeah, they injuries. They you look at what they were last year. They were like a 4th place team last year, 5th place team.
Yeah,
and this year they didn't make playoffs. They lost the playing game, so he should be out for sure.
And thoughts are that Kidd took his name off of the list for Portland. And a couple of the coaches that they're considering is Chauncey Billups, Jeff Van Gundy.
This is the big thing that I have a problem with in the NBA, man. Like, you have primarily Black players, and like I don't really want to go down this road, really, but primarily Black players, and you keep recycling these names. I don't understand. Like why is Jeff Van Gundy even in consideration? Like when you got guys who like there's a guy who's on the Raptors team. He was on the 905, the Black guy, Jama, whatever his name is. Like you got all these guys who are putting in work, like Sam Cassell. Like all these guys are putting in work. These Black guys who've been in the league for years. And I don't understand like
a lot of Black assistants all around all across the NBA.
The fact that Thibodeau got a job this year, and you know what, he took it and ran with it, got coach of the year. All praise to him. But the fact that he got a job after getting run out of Chicago, getting run out of Minnesota, and injuring and getting all those guys hurt, and he got a job this year. And you look at the fact that Jeff Van Gundy's name is being brought into this equation, and his Stan Van Gundy got a job last year, and his team did worse. Like, I hate the fact that they keep recycling these coaches, man. Like, let the young guys or new blood come in the league, man, and let those guys have a chance. I hate
White
that.
privilege insurance. That's what it is.
I hate that.
Like the greatest job security.
Yeah, man.
You can fail horribly and get a promotion.
Still get promotion.
Or
That's
just
crazy.
go unilaterally.
I look at it like the WWE, and the reason why is because I look at it as namesake, right? It's hiring these new guys, they don't have the namesake. And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that if you're selling the whole package, you're like, look, we have this name who was a big name coach back then and whatever, right?
10
it's kind
years
of
ago.
Yeah, but it's like if you watch WWE now and then all of a sudden Goldberg comes back to win the belt. You're like, where the
but that's
but I'm saying it's just a draw, right? Like everything that everybody do for business is a draw. It's you're looking at how can you bring in the money, but you have smart places, you have other places that knows that you have to build your superstars from within. So your coach has to be a superstar, your players have to be superstar. Like that's how some of them are groomed, which is why Nick Nurse came in with his own brand before he even started coaching. And then when he won, it elevated it, right? You look at there was one other name I was gonna put in there, but like Flip Saunders got fired.
Mhm.
Right?
And then his son got a job.
And then his son got a job, right? I don't even think is his son still coaching?
No, he got fired.
He got fired.
I think what happened was I think Flip had the job and he passed away.
He passed away, and then they hired his son like a year later, right? There's certain like for rookie coaches, like Nate Bjorn was a rookie head coach in Indiana that they hired him off of Nurse's coaching tree.
Mm-hmm.
1 year, they didn't do that well. There was still a lot of injuries. They traded for Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert had that the stuff that he had to go deal with, the health issues.
Was it cancer?
It was
I think it was cancer, like
early stages of it, right? So like you're looking at all of that, then they don't go as far. Oh, one and done. We get rid of him. We can try bringing in one of these names now, right? We can bring in a name that is a little
coach that doesn't know how the NBA is played today.
It's crazy, man.
Right. So it's just the trying to sell to everybody, sell to advertisers, sell to TV, sell to the fans, sell to have discussions on ESPN, on the radio, all this stuff.
What they should be doing, like I don't know if these coaches would jump in the NBA and do it, but what they should, the NBA is getting younger and younger. The NBA is the only league where, like, you look at football. Football, you got to play college for 3 years. WNBA, you got to be in college for 3 years. Like the NBA is the only league where you can
go straight from high school.
You can literally go from high school, like now, go from high school and forego college and go into the G League, and make like what that one kid just like the one kid make like what 2 million, whatever it is, like. Obviously, that's some change in the NBA, but for a high schooler, 18 years old, you know what I mean. So what the NBA should be looking at doing is they should be looking at bringing in these college coaches. So you look at Juwan Howard, you look at like all these college coaches who have like experience coaching, recruiting, and bringing young
Blazers.
Yeah, he was.
That's what it was. Yeah, he was one of the names up for Blazers.
So you look at these college coaches who have rapport with the young guys, who know how to recruit, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of like what the NFL has been doing with coaches. Like you look at Cardinals, they had Cliff Kingsbury. You look at the Bills, who had Sean McVay. You look at all these guys who have been coaching in college or whatever the case, and they come in and they're successful. You look at Urban Meyer, who was coaching at Ohio State, now he's coaching in Jacksonville. He's probably going to be good this year. So. Like, go back to my point, I just think they should go back to or start looking at the college coaches and bringing those guys in, because the NBA is getting younger. And as SA said, like bringing in these fossil coaches who are very rigid and like have a certain way of thinking, who are not looking at like the new guys coming in, the new way the game's played. I think that's
these guys are having a hard time listening to those guys.
Yeah, I think
those older coaches.
I think that's definitely a direction that the NBA should be going to. Yeah, connecting. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
The NBA is so much about your personality and kind of like the NBA is a players' league. Like like football is looked at like what's the saying? No fun league or good old boys club. Like that's football. You know what I mean? Like NBA is more like No, your stars and your big time players run the league.
Mhm.
So if you can't be a player's coach, or if you can't be one of those guys, you're going to be out. And I think that's part of the reason why the Indiana guy is gone, because probably just doesn't have that rapport and that connection.
And the last thing, which was major news, Coach K set to retire after this year. So they've already announced who his replacement will be. But
They have?
Yeah, he said.
Who's it?
I don't remember his name, but
is he like a assistant coach, or is this a
he's on
new
Duke.
guy?
He's on Duke, but he's gonna go. Coach K is gonna do one more year, and then
he's still doing Team USA, right?
No, that was Pop.
Oh, Pop's doing that.
Yeah.
If there's a Team USA.
I mean, the way how things are going right now, we're gonna be up and running in, fingers crossed, everything.
Not in Japan.
We're gonna be up and running in 4 months, bro.
Not in Japan. And the Olympics supposed to start when? Next month?
Is it next month?
It was
July to August.
Yeah.
End of July to August. End of July into August.
I thought they pushed it back.
No, it's still
No.
They're on the TV. They're still showing it as end of July into August. So they
Even
didn't
though
push anything.
cases are rising in Japan right now. So
yeah.
We'll
But
see
yeah,
what
no,
happens.
congrats
We'll see what
to
happens.
Coach K. We're definitely gonna tune into his last year, because that's
Okay.
gonna be, and every stadium he goes to, as much as whatever, it's gonna be like one of those farewell tours
Oh, definitely.
of how long he's been coaching and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Duke is not a highly liked program, bro.
It's not about Duke, though.
Duke.
It's not about Duke. It's about him. It's definitely not going to be about Duke. It's going to be giving him a proper send off.
I mean, yes and no. College sports is different, bro. Like college sports is like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a culture. Like pro sports is about like, okay, well,
I'm not saying they're gonna
Where the
send.
money
I'm
is,
not saying they're
where the
gonna
money is, but
send
college-
off a video every time he comes in like it's the NBA farewell. But you're gonna see, like, at the end of each one, you're gonna see everybody like showing the coaches, showing their respect to Coach K. Like the videos the cameras are gonna follow Coach K at the end of games.
I think that's what they're going to do it too.
especially because of the college culture.
No, I'm saying not. They're not gonna do a video tribute. Coach, this is all the time Coach K beat our team. And he's
Sponsored by
there.
Nike.
Well, like,
Like,
I was just saying in terms of like, I don't know, man. Like college sports is like more like, I don't know. Like you're probably 100% right. Just in my head, the way how I see it, like I've been to college games and like it's different, man. Like if you're the enemy, you're the enemy. Like it's no shake your hand after. It's fuck you, go home. Like it's
I don't
different.
know. Coach K,
Yeah,
to me, he's the exception.
yeah.
He's the exception. That's Coach K. It's
I
Coach
guess so,
K.
but he also coached
We shall
Christian
see.
Laettner. He coached Christian Laettner, who's like most hated college player ever.
yeah, but that was in the 90s. He
Yeah,
still
but
coached. He still coached 20-something years past that.
And then,
Past
but then you look at you look at JJ Redick, like all these guys, like people don't like Duke, bro. Like JJ Redick, the guy who on Memphis, so the tripper guy, what's his name? Allen.
It might be a Netflix special though.
Bro, like people don't like Duke, man. Duke is one of
I
those
don't know,
programs
Coach.
that
Coach, I think you're reading into
people
too
don't
much
like.
of this one. You're reading a little too much into this
Hey,
one,
man.
Coach.
I'm just saying, man. I'm
Gotta
saying,
do
I'm saying,
a
man.
last
I'm
dance
saying,
Duke edition.
Duke is one of those programs that people do not like, man.
So yeah, we've reached a part of the podcast where we get to promote our social medias and anything else that we're working on. So, Dewayne, what you got?
You can just follow him on IG, Chaz_Tenenbaum, Cabby certified.
Dope. Mr.
That in a
Essay.
while.
Yes. It's been a while since I've done this. Cool. How do I follow that up? But yeah, you got @Pro Chatterbox is my personal IG, and then I got the podcast. We'll hopefully get a revival coming soon within the next week or two. But you can check our Instagram at Chatter Talks and on our website chattertalks.tv, where you can see all the episodes prior. Get yourself caught up for the big season 2 opener.
Dope. Coach.
My IG is real deal _Francis. I'm here, man. It's been a tough week, man. Lakers lost, Clippers won, Ravens didn't trade for Julio Jones. It's been a tough week, man.
Welcome to the life of a Raptor fan.
Tough week.
And I just want to say, man, I missed y'all, man. I missed you guys, bro. I miss this banter.
Sort of, man.
So, what, you didn't miss me? Well, I could tell why you weren't looking forward to my return. So
honestly, like I don't know. I don't like you guys know. I don't run from nothing. I'm here. I'm in it all the time. Like you got win, lose or draw. I'm in it, man. So
I expected you to show up. I'm not surprised that
man.
Our two bronze sexuals didn't show up. I'm not surprised,
man. Again. You look on the logo. You look on that. I'm a Laker fan. Period.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Probably the only true one. But don't you ever. Oh, by the way, don't I owe you a Phoenix Suns shirt?
Yeah, man. Bring. Well, no. We said if Brooklyn won, I was with if Brooklyn won or if Lakers won the championship, then I get you a jersey. And if Brooklyn won, then yeah.
Okay.
So I still got some time left, man. But as looking right now, like I had Bucks winning again second round. I don't know what's happening, man. Budenholzer is pissing me off by 40, man. Like the fact like Milwaukee only shot 7 free throws in the game.
And for me, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at The Senator. Don't forget to check out Not So Soft Podcast. Comes out every Friday with myself, Nino Rockwell, and Kino the Great. Also, don't forget to check out my Twitch page, twitch.tv/It's The Senator. I've just been delaying going back on there, but I am going to do 1 or 2 sets before everything opens back up. Dope. Also, don't forget to hit up the Chatroom Podcast Instagram page at the.chatroompod. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, and share the Chatroom Podcast anywhere that you listen or watch. Make sure to hit up the YouTube and subscribe. We got to get those numbers up. Also, if you have any takes, if you have your own analysis of what happened in the first round, email it to us at thechatroompod@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
We only got 3 more episodes left of this season, so we're going to end it off on the way how we need to. Take a little summer break, take some time to relax. And now that COVID is over in July, according to what the government seems like they want it to be, you got to go out there. It's going to be a hot girl summer for the women and men. Be careful.
Hey, man. Hot boy summer, man. We in it, man. Hot boy summer. Come on, man. We in it.
I'm in a committed relationship.
I'm having a fiance summer.
We got one guy who's engaged. One guy's committed. I got a kid, but
I said
hot boy summer.
This is
hot boy summer. We in it. Yeah.
This is why I said, men, be careful. All right. But yeah, this has been the Chatroom Podcast, your favorite baller's favorite podcast, and we are out.
Peace.